Sorry, Ollie. Asherella beat you to it. She is the first comment on the screen. Though you are definitely third. Pop out that chat. Pop the booty chat. Pop it. Hey guys. Welcome. What's he gonna say next? Can you imagine? You guys were listening to Zelda, Chill Hop Zelda by Game Chops. Pretty dank. Pretty dizzy dank. Austin, you like the transition sounds in my videos? Thanks. I got it on I downloaded it myself from a stock sound website. It was probably the only good thing that ever came from being in a network. And I probably could have just bought it for way less. Chill Hop Last Airbender. That'd be dope. Honestly, I never really watched Last Airbender stuff. I feel like it was when I was in high school or something like that, and beyond, past my time, my peak cartooning time, or at least past my peak cartooning time whenever, like cartoons with serious plot lines for me to just sit and watch and absorb. I think the reason I watched so much Adventure Time was the fact that I didn't really have to think very hard to watch it. It was just comedy oriented. James Noonan with the 2 says, you still drinking distilled water? I actually am, yeah. That's hilarious you bring that up. What do you think about that? Even though, I mean, conventional water, I had no issue with it. I just, something about having a big jug of distilled right there. It's just ready to rock and roll. And it's only 97 cents at my grocery store. Yellowstorm. Is it Yellowstorm? Is it Yellowstorm or Y3LA Storm? Thank you for the 450 Australian buckaroonies. James Noonan with the 2 says, look up what happens if you drink it for too long. Alright, distilled water, drink for too long. I should just type in side effects. Pros, depending on where you live, distilled water could be better for you than tap. If your town's water is tainted with harmful chemicals, pesticides, you're safe for drinking distilled. Storing distilled water could be more of a problem. Distilled water can pull in minerals from material it touches. This means it can absorb trace amounts of plastic or whatever substances in the container that's holding. I mean, that was the only con they had written there, but of course, I mean, I kind of just drink it as soon as I get it. I don't really let it sit, but I don't know if that matters or not, but I definitely have gotten some reverse osmosis from our local hippie shop around here. Cries in Flint, Michigan. That's, yeah, Jesus. What is the deal with that? Cadillac, welcome. Good to see you guys, though. We are already at a whopping 164 human beings in here. I should probably share this on Twitter. Dear all Twatterites, I am recording spooky stories, so please come join me while I record and make noises with my mouth. Nom nom nom. Yum yum. Live that hip life, wow. That hippy dippy trippy. I'm that hippy dippy trippy. I'm feeling pippy. Don't get snippy now. Anybody heard of steam-powered giraffe? I've never heard of it. Yeah, click like on that stream. I have no idea if it helps, but it feels good when you do it, you know? And it pleases the YouTube gods. Hartley from Michigan can confirm we got shafted when it comes to water. Yeah, what do you guys do for that now? Do you just kind of have to ship it in or something of that nature? Kit Kat, where's Pradeep? He is right behind me, curled up in a nice ballerino, looking quite comfortable. Quite comfortable. Is anyone here actually good at freestyling? Because I've never been good at it. I've been good at like sitting down and writing rhymes in the sense of poetry. But I've never been much of a freestylist. Perhaps I just haven't smoked the right stuff, but my brain just doesn't flow quite well. Caitlin, welcome. It's cool seeing quite a few green names on the screen. Makes me feel like I'm doing something right. Snow Money, you're good at free stizzy styling. 2:47 a.m. here in Northern Ireland, wide awake. I really enjoy your stories. Keep it up. Thank you, CJ. Hope you get some sleep here soon. Maybe we'll help you drift off. James Noonan with the 2 says, distilled doesn't contain potassium like Smart H2O. Oh, that's okay. I actually supplement a lot of my electrolytes and vitamins from a multivitamin. So, presumably shouldn't have to worry too much about that. Would suggest it if anybody hasn't tried it before. I've advocated very strongly for my Dr. Berg vitamin. I think it's on I think it's on Amazon, but it has been great for me body. If you'd like to know more, please ask over DM or Discord. Gothic Rose with the 2. What's up, Gothic? Good to see you. Are you doing well? I remember last time we spoke, you had some good life changes on the horizon. Hope all that's going well. And Lils with the 5 says, I'm here for the rants. Oh, you gonna get me started on a ranty rant? I'm still thinking of Kirby boobs. Ooh, yeah. Kirby's kind of fortunate. If he wants a pair, you just gotta suck him in. You don't want my fave narrator to shrivel up. Don't worry, I'm quite the opposite of shrived. I'm very bloated. I'm a nice bloated, streamy boy. What RO unit is only $50 on... Oh, reverse osmosis unit is only $50 on Amazon. I've honestly thought about that. And I've been very curious if that's difficult to install, or... Also, I rent the place I live, so it's like... I'm kind of wondering to myself if I'd end up screwing up one of the... some of the pipes. DS is good. Do I have any creepy stories? Honestly, not a whole lot. I've always been kind of like just a bloated, streamy boy. So it's like I don't have quite the attraction that creepers oftentimes find in many, many girls. I think oftentimes I think creepers would go out of their way to avoid walking on the same side of the street as me, if they even dare consider walking on my sidewalk. They We'll get an awkward gaze. Ian Roos with the 10 buckaroo says, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Ian. I'm glad you're here. The Million Joel March. All of the clones are here. We shall march. What we are marching for is uncertain at this time, but once we are told what it is, we shall all agree because we are clones. Hooks to any faucet. Ah, interesting. Bearpaw. Enjoy listening to me while you're at work. I'm glad no one gets in trouble for having a good time at work. I used to always get micromanaged at my old job. Could never listen to music, couldn't have food. Just a bunch of bullshit. Jack Hughes, The Tower of Silence was one of your best narrates on Tats. Oh, Tats. Yeah, I forgot about Tats. How's Tats doing? Is he still making countdown videos and stuff like that? He was a very talented guy, very cool guy. James Noonan with the 5 says, last one. Can we get some RV stories like missing or weird encounters scary with people? Would help me out a lot. Keep it up. You know, James, that's a great idea, actually. And thank you for the 5 RV stories. Yeah, traveling across the United States. I know that people have sent those types in before, at least kind of like road trip-esque style stuff, but I'll have to go digging deep through the emails. Also, guys, if you guys are going to email a story, and sometimes that's totally cool, you know, because I'm able to search by keyword on there, but don't forget the subreddit, reddit.com/r/Let's Read Official. I should have named it like Let's Read Submissions. I feel like that would have made more sense, but on good old Let's Read Official subreddit, which is linked down below. Hey, Mickey. You can submit your stories there, and it's a little bit free. And if you do a sort of tag, if you tag it with like true or paranormal, it helps me search through them. And if you kind of give me a synopsis of what the story is about in the title, a lot of people do that on like the Let's Not Meet subreddit. That helps quite a bit. That's not to be confused with the vegan subreddit, Let's Not Meet. Keshi P with the 14 Canadian maple syrup buckaroo says, are AirPods worth it? I'm having a crisis. Also, hey, let's read. Hi, Kashi. I saw... You left a message on Discord earlier, but I forget what it said. Thank you so much for your Canadian leaves, my friend. It's good to see you. Welcome back. Aaron Wilson with the 2 says, let's read your maker. Same person? Was anybody here for the, whenever your maker came onto my stream for a little bit? That was quite a wacky and wild experience we had. Ollie, unfortunately, putting any sort of social media tags or anything like that gets blocked on here, I think automatically by YouTube, so I can't really control that. But best course of action would be to make some friends on my Discord. Everybody on Discord's been really hooting and hollering great lately. I feel like very sociable folk, very kind to one another, which has been nice. I don't know if you call that networking per se, but definitely making some friendos over there. You guys should join. Blue Bunny says, hey, all crazy good people. Hello, Blue Bunny. Welcome back. We are going to be kicking off the stream here in 3 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm going to be reading some of your basic run-of-the-mill spooky Let's Not Meet storios. Yeah, part of an everyday well-rounded breakfast. Some storios. Can I collab? Oh, that's right. You said about collabing with Dr. Creepin. That would be great. I feel like I've had him on like within the past year, and I'm definitely down to collab with him again. You should hit him up if you DM him or anything. I'm sure he would respond. You should have him hit me up, hit him up to hit me up to hit you up. That we're probably gonna collab again soon. Oh, AirPods. That's right. AirPods seem terrible because I'll be real with you. I've tried to wear iPod type headphones in the past, and I've never in my life ever had iPhone type headphones that like the buds that go in your ear like stay in like comfortably. Like I need like the ones that go over top your ears, or the ones that kind of wrap around your ears and also go in, like the Bluetooth ones or whatever. But any iPhone oriented pod, Aries pod, I sound like a boomer, but any of that crap for me always falls out. And the fact that they don't have a cord, I feel like they would even be more higher likely to fall out. Also, hygienically, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but hygienically, I've heard some negative things in relation to having earbuds, that go into the ear canal overall, as far as like hearing loss and ear infections and weird stuff like that. I don't know exactly if the AirPods do that or not, but they just, I can only imagine how much iPhone charges for those also. And everything they're doing is so stupid. They get rid of the headphone thing, and then they make it so everything's got to be wireless, which is cool. It looks like futuristic and shit, but at the same time, it's like, are you kidding me? You can't use third-party, headphones? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Alec Vega with the $5 says, yeah, back to scary story time. I got the whole friends over. We are ready for it. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Al. You got a freaking Let's Reach stream party. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Let's go, baby. Are you guys doing a drinking game or something every time I mess up, which will be 83 mess ups, I'm guessing now. Just kidding. Probably much less than that. We'll say 60. 60 shots for tonight. This sounds reasonable between the couple of you. Justin Bailey with the $2 says, ghost stories, please. Nobody's doing them anymore. Yeah, I've been, I'm going to tell you something weird I've been experiencing with YouTube lately in relation to that. Hey, Moonlight Amoeba. There's ear goblins in there. I know, yeah, little ear goblins taking a shite in your ears, giving you infections. But there's something weird that goes on with YouTube where there's my subscriber views, which is all of you amazing people, which my subscriber views by themselves essentially could keep me afloat for quite a long time. And I really want to say that I appreciate you guys being so devoted to the channel, whether that's your enjoyment of the content or whether it helps you fall asleep or all those good things. I just want to say thank you for that. But then there's this huge portion of your views that gets made up by what's called suggested videos. And that's a lot of views that usually makes up a channel's viewership. And it's pretty wild sometimes when you see it, because basically anytime you're like watching videos and all of a sudden, at the end it suggests you to another channel, it's almost as if though, like when you get suggested, like I said earlier, it's like you being blessed by the YouTube gods. Like it's like, because it makes up such a large percentage of people's views sometimes, it's really important to get into that. But it's going to initially be the main subscribers and their interaction with your video, whether it's liking it, whether it's sharing it, which I hope you guys do, whether it's leaving comments that are engaging, obviously viewing the video, that is going to create what they call like a view velocity or something like that, or like a sort of like, you know, if you guys are all under my video, and my video is a rocket ship, and you know, everyone's like showing up like, hey, what's this? Let's read video. And they're like, yeah, we need your help lifting it up over, you know, into space. We're going to stack our bodies underneath it. Like, that's essentially what it is. And the more bodies and the faster those bodies stack themselves up into space, the faster it can get into space, and more than YouTube sees that, and the more people will watch it, if that makes sense. Sorry, it's a roundabout answer, but basically, whenever... Oh, what's this? What's this? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my lord. Alec Vega first off with the 2 buses. Oh my god, then I guess I gotta call out of work. Hey, I don't want to get you in trouble, but if you're having a Let's Read party, you've come in time. And freaking Dead Leaf Clover. Well, right there is the night is made immediately out the gate. Holy shizzers. With the $80 donation, stopping in to say hello. Thank you so much, Emily. It's good to see you. Guys, if you've not met Dead Leaf Clover before, she is a fantastic friend of ours over in the Discord, and also an amazing hoary storyteller. And obviously very generous as well. My god, thank you so much, Dead Leaf, for the $80. That's, I don't even, that complete, yeah, the twerk team is on the lineup right now, and you guys are, that definitely gets me going. It'd be funny, you get that and you're like, can't even control it, my booty is bumping. Oh my god, thank you. It's hard to get back on track after something like that, but I probably should just jump into the stories in general. But one last thing I wanted to say in relation to the sort of viewership is that, like, whenever I do the paranormal stuff, because my audience is sort of split on that, I would say that there's probably like 25% of the usual audience is disinterested in the 25% of the audience is disinterested in paranormal stuff. Not as many of them watch it, so then it like ends up hurting not only that video's ability to be suggested to new viewers, which then keeps subscribers coming in whenever there's other subscribers who you probably subscribe to certain channels that you never check or something like that. Markiplier, or not saying that Markiplier is one that you don't check, but just hypothetically you were like 8 years old once and you subscribed to him, and now you're 58 and you don't watch him as much or whatever, and that's what happens in my channel. So basically what ends up happening is like that video doesn't do quite as well because of the view velocity, but then also the next day YouTube doesn't suggest your videos out to as many people overall. And it's this weird thing that exists within YouTube of just like constantly keeping creators on their toes to cater to the audience, to keep up a certain sense of momentum, as weird as that sounds. And so basically my hope is that I want to do paranormal videos. I'm hoping maybe I can make them a little bit longer, like obviously over an hour or something like that. But I want to do them probably only about once a month, as bad as that sounds. And I know you guys love them, but I'm going to do them probably about once a month, so that they're a little bit more special whenever I do make them, a little bit longer. And, I don't oversaturate you guys with them if you aren't as interested in them as, as it goes. So, came for the paranormal, stayed for the clams. Hell yeah. 30 spooky clam stories. Emmy B, what's up? With the $5 says, it's my night off and my mom is in the hospital, but is being released tomorrow if everything goes well. But I'm super excited for your stream. Oh, thank you, Emmy, for being here. I'm so sorry to hear about your mom, but I'm also very excited in that same instance that she's getting out, because that does kind of really suck being in the hospital. I know the vibes. Been having a lot of family members with health issues lately. Been really tough, so I'm glad that your family member is breaking free. Hospital's no fun place to be. Jess Ellis, what's up, Jess? With the 15 Aru says, Snoop, hello. How are you, Jess? Thank you for the 15er, that's huge. Gracias. And Bess M with the 2 buses, would you be my Valentine? In 2 hours. In 2 hours, I'm all yours. Which is pretty wild, guys. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. What are you guys doing? Me, I am just waiting for all of the chocolate to go on sale. And we'll be good to go. MEB with another 5 says, I also just realized she'll be released on Valentine's Day. Perfect time. That is perfect timing. I hope you can take her out for a nice romantic mealio. Show her some love. Emmy with the 2 says, and I love the paranormals. Me too. I really do like the paranormal stories, like as far as their overall ominousness. Even when I read them, I like feel a certain sense of dread as I read them that I feel the stalker stories don't quite strike in me, or strike in it, it hits a different way, you know what I mean? And that's why I definitely want to keep them in the repertoire. They just might not be quite as often due to people's not as interested in them. Burrito Soar with the 20 kroners says, Happy Valentine, everyone. You have nice butts. Thank you. We've been doing some squiddy squats. Dude, A-Dub says, long time no talk. Thanks for the content. Well, yeah, A-Dub, how are you, bro? Come back to the Discord, chat with us a little bit, say what's up. It's good to see you. Best M with the $2 says, would you be my booty call for V-Day? No pressure. Hey, thanks for the no pressure. I appreciate that. I will be there in 5 seconds flat. Which will also be the total amount of time that I'll spend there as well. I'll let you take that as you will. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. 5 second man. Crazy Christy with the 5 says, I've been waiting all week for you to go live. Finally, happy Valentine's Day to all. Thank you, Crazy Christy. I guess that should indicate to me that I should probably kick this party off with some spooky stories. I've been rambling quite a bit tonight. I want to thank Game Chops again for this Zelda and Chill mix. It was quite awesome. Swamp Dweller in the house. Says LR radiates big PP energy. Hell yeah, brother. Fucking swang that thing, brother. Also, I think Pradeep my cat wants out real quick. Let me let him out right quick. And I shall read you stories. You know what's kind of sweet? Is this sort of almost feels like an old-timey radio broadcast, you know what I mean? Where someone is sitting at their desk, they're like, hello, ladies and ladettes. I'm here to read to you tonight. But back then, like, they would, here's our first caller for the night. I wonder what it'd be like if I actually took callers in between stories. Would that be something you guys would be interested in? Would there really even be anything that, like, would be worth chatting about? Or would there even be any questions to ask over a call that would even make sense? I have no idea. William Park says, are these stories actually happening to you, or are they just reading them off? So these stories are stories that people submit, or stories that we procure through permission from the great website of Reddit. So these are not stories that happen to me, thank God, because some of them get pretty spooky dooky. Slumber Reads did that last night. Nice. She took in a call. Was it interesting? Was it something that was worth chatting about? Alright, first story. Thankfully, I wasn't home alone. This one's a little bit of a quick one, but it must hit pretty hard. You could thirst in real time. You're on the call. Just read the stories, no calls. Fuck off with that call shit. No, I feel ya. Honestly, if it actually resonated, the idea with me, I probably would do it, but just throwing the idea out there, see what you guys could think of. Turn into Coast to Coast AM. I know, yeah, you guys would, if someone had some real weird paranormal shit to talk about, I definitely would chat about that, but I've chatted with some weirdos before, and it's kind of frustrating, because it's like you're not talking to a real human being, you know what I mean? Like, you are, but you're like, it's like their mind goes somewhere else in the conversation, and it's like you can tell when someone is earnest about something or just a little friggin' nuts. This is something that I didn't realize the severity of. Fuck. I gotta warm up a little bit. This is something I didn't realize the severity of till I was older. My mom had left me and my brother home alone. It was midday. My brother was 12, maybe 13, so I was 9 years old. Watching him play Xbox in our living room, he had his headset on talking to his friends. There was a knock from the door on our carport. I run and answer the door without looking. It's a grown man I've never seen before. We are separated by the screen door, which at the time was unlocked. He asks, "Are your parents home?" Horror washes over me. First of all, he's knocking from the carport, which is strange in and of itself. A stranger would knock on our front door, right? And our carport is empty. We only had one car and my mother had taken it. This man knows that my parents aren't home. I'm afraid. I don't know why, but I am scared. Immediately, my brother in the other room comes to mind. I've never had a father figure. My brother has always been the one who has made me feel safe. The strongest person in the whole world. Someone who could protect me in any situation. How most people regard their father, I think. I feel as though I can barely speak. Wide-eyed, I manage to stutter out, "No, but, Big Brother here." Without even a moment's pause, this man reaches for the screen door and starts to open it. Like an act of God, divine intervention, an arm reaches out from behind me over my shoulder and grabs the door. My brother pushes past me, holding the door, forcing the man back with his presence, out into the carport, and closes the door behind him. The man tells my brother he was looking to buy some old swing set that was in our front yard at the time. My brother comes back in without saying anything to me, puts on his headset, and continues playing. I sit down as well and continue watching him. I don't believe we ever told our mom. Luckily, I never encountered this person again, and it pretty much fades from my memory. But as I got older, it became one of the scariest things that ever happened to me. Oh. I guess that is pretty creepy. A lot of the stories on here, I guess, are sort of, I mean, they're hit or miss. I don't know how if that hit you or not, but some of them are, I feel like, a lot more objectively creepy, and then some of them are how you could say, like, more ominous, like the possibility of something. Also, yeah, you may or may not have heard a lot of my stories on here already, because basically my friend Alec on Discord, who procures the permission for the stories, will sometimes get quite a bit of them in a row, maybe a month ago or something like that. And then while other stories come and go, whether they're through submission or whatnot, these will kind of be sitting, fermenting, if you will, until the time comes to be read on the channel. And sometimes by that point, I'm sure you may or may not have heard them already on another channel such as Mr. Swamp Dweller if he's still here. A few months back, I went on a date with a guy who seemed familiar to me, but I couldn't put my finger on where I've seen him before. I assume I might have met him on a night out. It was a last-minute thing, and I told him how I wasn't looking for anything, but it would be nice to hang out. That was a mistake. When I first met him, he seemed like an alright guy, but things quickly turned when we got to a restaurant. He didn't order, but I did, and he started saying about loving my curves and my body. I laughed it off, but I thought he was being a bit too forward. He could have put it nicely or kept that to himself. While having my food, he began telling me about how I was different from other girls because they don't give nice guys like him a chance. Red flags immediately going off, so I came up with a story that I could only be out for a little bit because my parents wanted me to dog sit. He bought it, but then proceeded to stare at my breasts and saying how he wished that he could see me without clothes on, even saying I should send him a picture. I told him I don't do that, and he was making me uncomfortable. He stopped, but then told me how he brought me a gift. He pulled out of his bag a bouquet of roses, which I guess I did think was sweet, and a bag of Tesco prawns. That confused me, and I burst out laughing. I asked why he got them, and he said he knew I liked tempura and prawns. But the thing is, I never once told him I did so. Whoops. Never once told him I did. Prawns. Anybody here like tempura and prawns? From Tesco? Sugar Mills with the 10. Thank you, Sugar. Thank you, Sugar. Oh, Sugar. Did I miss one? Oh, yeah, MEB. I think I missed. Whoa, I missed. Oh, wow. How did I miss those donations? I must have been rambling and had not been paying attention here. Sorry about that. But, Bess M with the $2 says, "You give me the kind of feeling people write about." You should. Please, write me a poem on Twitter and I'll retweet it. Thank you for the 2. And MEB with a 5 says, "Something really nuts is yesterday in Georgia the temp was 70. Tonight's temps are 43. Parkour." Yeah, that's really jumping around. Is that where you're at in Georgia? Georgia seems pretty cool. Well, at least in the sense of the weather. I don't know if any of the weather gets scary aside from the random jumps. Fuck it, do it live. But the thing is, I never once told him I did, so that sounded... Sometimes, like, no comments, like, really throw me off. But the thing is, I never once told him I did, so alarm bells were going off again. My head told me to run, but I didn't want to be rude, so I stayed until the time I said I had to go. So I had less than an hour left. Okay, I can do that. He kept talking, but started to scare me because he started guessing aspects of my life. The school I went to, what I was like as a kid, and what I am currently doing. He got every part right. It scared me because I had not told him any of this and haven't posted anything online about it. So I backed away and asked how he knew all of that information. Turned out his mother was one of my teachers in school, and he asked her everything she knew about me and looked online for anything about me currently. I don't know when he asked her, but at this point, I wanted to get out of there. And thank God for my mom. Not long after, I got a text from my mom asking how things were. He didn't see the text, but saw it was my mom, and I just said, "Oh God, my mom and dad got the times wrong for the picture, so I have to go home now for my dog. I'm so sorry." The guy just accepted that and then started to walk me home. I said about only going halfway because I'm not comfortable with people knowing where I stay, but He then started insisting. He then dropped the bombshell that he knew that I stayed on X such and such road, but didn't know which house was mine. I told him that is really weird and that it creeped me out that he knew that. He claimed I told him, but I never... Fuck. Kyle, do a whole live stream in British? You want me to do a whole live stream in British? That would not go very well. I think I would annoy quite a bit of people. I was listening to this... I gotta be honest, I don't listen to ASMR stuff very often. I think a lot of it actually makes me kind of nauseous, as weird as that sounds, especially the eating sounds. Not to knock anybody that's into that, I don't really care, but like, there's something about certain ASMR stuff where I'm just like, get it away from me. Like, it just like triggers like the complete opposite. But I was listening to this guy, his name is like the French ASMR or something like that, but he does all this like interesting content that discusses like, traveling through, to another galaxy or going to the center of the Earth. And when he talks like this. We are, how you say, traveling, to, like, he claimed, I told him, but I never tell people that. So I started to walk to the main road for my own safety, but he grabbed my hand and said he knew a shortcut. I told him I was not comfortable again, and he told me it was fine and basically dragged me to a quiet road. Like, I don't know what... Yeah, the French Whisperer. Yeah, like it's actually a really, really good channel. Yeah, and you learn things as you listen to it, which is really funny. I don't know why. I just like his accent a lot. And the fact that he's like... Honestly, like, I feel like French people, as weird as this like sounds, like every time I've listened to them on streams, like the French streamers that play games, or like even like the French Canadian types, there's something about them that where it all started, I felt like, was whenever I would see like Ubisoft had a lot of French game developers, and I don't know why, they just always seemed incredibly intellectual to me, and I don't know if that's like something different about their education system or something of that nature, or maybe I just like the accent, I have no idea, but they always just sounded super smart. And this guy's he can really break down stuff like even like, Einstein's theory of relativity. Makes it easy for dummies, so you don't have to have any background knowledge. Hey Ashley, take it easy. Good to see you. He does 3 to 4 languages too, like history of pirates or astronomy stuff. Oh yeah, he does different languages. I remember that too. That's wild. He claimed I told him, but I never tell people that. So I started to walk to the main road for my own safety, but he grabbed my hand and said he knew a shortcut. I told him I wasn't comfortable again, and he told me it was fine and basically dragged me to a quiet road. I was getting really scared when he stopped and shoved his tongue down my throat. I shoved him away and told him to stop it, and he apologized. That's when I noticed a stranger walking a dog coming, so I used that and said I needed to go and went to the main road. I thought I was safe, but no. The guy kept walking with me. I stopped and told him I wanted to part there and how it was nice to meet him again. He looked confused and said we had never met. He said about meeting on a night out just to get to come... Wait, what the fuck? That sounds strange for some reason. Blake Reed with the 5 says, you make my 2-hour commute better. Thank you. Thanks, Blake. Good to see you. I hope your commute is going well. Stay safe out there. Joel shaking his fanny pack full of quarters ASMR. That's what I love about some of these ASMR channels. They are... they get very meta, and they're very funny. Like, I think I may have mentioned last time about that one girl who did that ASMR video where it's like teaching Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend algebra. or something. Tutoring Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend in algebra. I don't know why. That was just like the funniest shit ever. See, like even just seeing that as like a screenshot, and I watched some of it, and some of the stuff that she said in it was just like really funny, like saying like, I know that pencils can be really heavy for you. It's the funniest shit. Honestly, if you guys just are just looking for a way to have like decent YouTube success, just start a fucking ASMR channel and just make some really whacked out there shit, because guarantee you someone's gonna want to watch that. Joel's stomach rumbling ASMR. Oh yeah, it's always going. He looked confused and said we have never met. He said about meeting on a night out just to get me to come. I then began saying, look, I have to go. When he cut me off, grabbed and pulled me near some bushes, saying, before you go, there's one more thing. I told him I needed to go and to let go of me, but he ignored it. The guy then pulled me, hurting my wrists, and kissed me again. He saw the bushes and said about having privacy, and I managed to shove him off and tell him no. He then grabbed me again and tried to take me to the bush, saying, it'll only be a second, while I resisted. Some dog walkers came by, and he stopped and pulled me to kiss me again, this time grabbing my breast. I shoved him and screamed. I said no, and just ran. My heart was racing. I was terrified. I thought he might have tried to do something to me. I kept looking back, and he was nowhere to be seen. I ended up taking the long way home just in case. When I got in, I just started to cry. I thought something bad would have happened to me when I got a message from another account. Whoops. That was weird. I feel like those are two separate sentences, but Bess M with the 5 says, every heart sings a dong, incomplete another. I don't know why I can't read that. Every heart sings a dong, incomplete. It says dong. I don't know if that's. I guess the S and the D are near each other, but every heart sings a dong, incomplete until another heart whispers back. Are those that was the poem. That was the poem. Thank you. Can you tweet that to me so I can retweet it? Every girl has a breast, maybe 2 chicken breasts. When I got in, I just started to cry. I thought something bad would have happened to me when I got a message from another account. It was him. He said about how lovely it was meeting me and how it was the best date ever, how I was the prettiest girl he'd ever kissed and that he would see me again, adding how he hoped I had a lovely time and that he showed me he was a gentleman, then adding how he was on my road. I just hid on the floor for the rest of the day. When I looked at his profile, I remembered where I had seen him before. He used to message my old Facebook account years ago with weird messages and creepy edits saying how he loved me. This whole event happened within an hour and a half. When am I gonna do more stuff on Spotify? So yeah, the latest Spotify post was this previous Monday, so you can check that in case you missed that one. That should be podcast episode 55. Pretty long, 55. A poem about Joel's dong. Nice. And then and then I update the podcast every other week. So the next one that you will see should be on February, or the 24th of February. Be sure to get updates for that. Okay. Bess M with the 2 says, I got some breasts in my freezer and next to me. Just chicken breasts laying in your bed. They're thawing. Uh-oh. This story's called The Nice Boy. He was such a nice boy. Girls don't want the nice boy, I'll tell you that. I've learned that over a lifetime of being the nice boy. And that's when I became the bad boy. French accent? I am a French accent? Went to a Chinese restaurant with your aunt once. She told the waiter gracias after ordering. I secretly hope that your aunt was so hyper self-aware of what she was doing that it was actually just like a troll. She was trolling them? Well, Chaotic Sands, you're frying up some chicken? Hell yeah. Does anybody remember the day that I became an e-boy? I don't think I can quite pinpoint it. When I was around 15, I lived alone in a 2-story house. Although there were bedrooms upstairs, I would sleep on the living room couch. This was for 2 reasons. 1, it was the central location of the house, so I could hear everything. 2, it was equidistant from every exit. One night at around 2 in the morning, I heard somebody jiggling the front doorknob. It was a slow, cautious jiggle, like they were trying not to be heard. When the door didn't opened. When the door didn't open, they didn't stop. The jiggling slowly became less cautious and more irritated. They persisted for at least 2 minutes. They then went to the back door, which was also locked. Excuse me, sorry. Pardon me. Guys, what was that, a 10 out of 10 burp? It felt like a 6 out of 10, I'll be honest. They went to the back door, which was also locked. I didn't want to call the police because I was an unemancipated minor living alone. I didn't want to be placed into foster care, and I didn't want my parents in trouble for neglect. Eventually, the jiggling stopped. I stayed up that night, waiting for them to try other entrances, but nothing happened. A few nights passed, and I awoke to the sound of a door opening upstairs. The doors in the house would really stick, so they took a lot of force to open. When you pop them loose, they'd make a loud scrape, pop, and shudder noise. At the time, I would take sleeping pills. It made it really hard to fully awaken, and I'd sometimes only awaken with sleep paralysis. I couldn't determine whether I dreamt the sound or whether I awoken from it. I started to fall back asleep and thought I heard the door close, like grinding of wood rubbing together. Then the sound of bed springs screeching, like weights were being shifted. I thought maybe somebody is homeless and they thought this was an abandoned house. I was super tired and wasn't sure if I was actually conscious. I fell back asleep and awoke to the feeling of somebody watching me. There were stairs parallel to the living room door, and I could see them from the couch. Halfway down the stairwell, I could see a long-haired man crouched over, looking at me. It was dark, and I felt like we were both trying to verify what we were seeing. I kept a metal baseball bat by the couch and grabbed it. Slowly, the man erected his body, and without turning, he didn't do a single turr. Lexishness, that's pretty funny. I awoke to the sound of funky fresh beats and a coffee maker. That sounds pretty sweet, actually. That sounds like the perfect morning. It was the perfect morning. It was the best morning. Funky fresh beats. Coffee treats. Somebody's watching me. Hazel, you lived alone at 16? That's scary. Slowly the man erected his body, and without turning, backed up the stairs. I just listened for him to leave, or waited for him to come back down, but I heard neither. It was like he just stood at the top of the stairs, waiting for me. I didn't go back to sleep. I heard nothing, even until sunrise. When I left for school that morning, I questioned what I'd actually experienced. I had my boyfriend over later that evening. As we approached the house, he said, "Hey, your window's open." I looked, and the room to the sticking door was wide open. I told him what I'd experienced the night before, and he helped me check out the house. After finding nothing, I closed and locked the windows. I figured it must have been a hobo. Once they realized somebody lived there, they left. I still stayed there that night, but I didn't take sleeping pills. I awoke to the door opening again. This time I knew it was real. They knew somebody lived there, but they still returned. At this time in my life, I had little value for my life. I had no fear of death because I knew where I'd go. I decided that I wasn't going to hide in my own house. I got my baseball bat, turned on the lights, and went upstairs. I yelled something like, "Listen, buddy, I'm coming up. Be out by the time I get there." I heard nothing and prepared for the worst. I checked the rooms and the closets, but I found nothing, and the windows were still closed. I checked the downstairs and found nothing as well. I felt pretty silly after finding nothing, but still stayed up that night. I got ready for school the next morning and saw that the window was open again. It occurred to me that I hadn't checked under the beds when I'd done the search. I didn't have my bat with me and bailed. I think that To think that intruder was possibly hiding under the bed as I searched the house is spooky, but I'm partially relieved that I hadn't checked. If I'd bent down and come face to face with a man beneath my bed, the story may have ended differently. Wait, what the fuck? The story was called The Nice Boy. What? Does that make sense to anybody? The story was called The Nice Boy, and it literally had nothing to do with a boy, and definitely not about a boy who's nice. That's kind of weird. Let me just read that sentence over again. If I'd bent down and come face to face with a man beneath my bed, the story may have ended differently. I feel like that the story should have been the hobo boy or the weirdo in my house boy. Or the e-boy who is in my house now. .com. I don't know. Something other than the nice boy. What? I feel like they started off writing like they had the title in there and then they changed the story completely and they forgot. I gotta let my cat in real quick. He's a nice boy. KFC man, what up, dog? With the 3 buckaronis says hello. Hello, KFC man. How art thou? KFC man was listening to me briefly rage about Overwatch in Discord yesterday. I appreciate the true devotion. Daddy's fancy boy. Yeah, it should have been about a fancy boy. A parallelogram man. He did say was that the person that said equidistant? So that could have been it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was so nice of that nice boy to break in and keep an eye out on me while I slept. Oh my god, that girl in there. She could be hurt by anybody. Better break into her house. Make sure nobody does anything. Don't you see I'm trying to help you? Emma, what up? What's poppin'? What's popping? Uh-huh. Random bar guest. I had just turned 22 and was working F&B. They had just promoted me from server to behind the bar, and I couldn't be more excited. Now, being a young, somewhat attractive female in F&B, you get a lot of creeps. You learn to shrug them off almost as though they're not even being a creep, though. With that said, it takes a lot to creep me out. So I'm being trained behind the bar one night when this random guy comes in. I say random because you see the same people every day. He's probably late 40s or early 50s. He sits down, asks me some questions about some beers, and makes some general small talk. His first impression was polite and kind of chatty, but nothing out of the normal. Nothing out of the normal. You love to eat raw cookie dough? Shit, that sounds freaking amazing. I freaking love bats. Love Halloween. I've talked about that girl before, right? I freaking love bats. And just how unbelievably funny how can a kid be that funny? Do you guys know the video I'm talking about? It's like a Vine kid. And they had there's quite a few videos on YouTube as well. But I've never seen a kid before the age of 5 be as funny as that small child was. And I'm like, is that even, how do you make kids funny? Are kids allowed to be funny? Maybe I only thought she was funny. His first impression was polite and kind of chatty, but nothing out of the normal. He finishes his food and orders another beer, then his demeanor changed. He made a comment about how cute I was after I did something ditzy or clumsy. I laughed it off and made a dumb blonde joke. Then out of nowhere, I could just kidnap you. Excuse me? Okay, that's awkward, but I don't want to make this a more awkward situation. I should joke it off. My dumb self responds, I'm working a double. I wish I could get kidnapped. I messed up. What are you doing after work? When do you get off? I immediately become short with him, shutting him down, name-dropping my boyfriend left and freaking right. When I started name-dropping my boyfriend, he made it very clear, your boyfriend ain't nothing. Oops. When I started name-dropping my boyfriend, he made it very clear that my boyfriend was nothing, that my boyfriend has nothing on him, etc. I was becoming rude at this point to this man, and he was still not letting up. I tried just ignoring him and staying away from that general area of the bar, but he would not stop calling me by name. When I go to check on him, if he didn't need anything, I'd walk away. But he wouldn't let me out of sight, and his stare was predatory, and I kid you not, he would literally lick his lips when I looked his way. I finally admitted defeat and told the girl training me that I couldn't serve him anymore. Oh my god, Pradeep, stop. He goes up to high spots and jumps from very high locations to create lots of noise that's not good for the microphone. Oh my gosh. Okay. But he is pretty cute. You guys should see him. He's a pretty cute cat. He's a pretty cute cat. He's got fur on his body and he makes a purring sound. Pretty cute cat. Okay. I kid you not. Okay. But he wouldn't let me out of his sight, and his stare was predatory, and I kid you not, he would literally lick his lips when I looked his way. I finally admitted defeat and told the girl training me that I couldn't serve him anymore and that I refused to interact with him. She took over, and anytime he tried calling me over, she'd cut him off and be like, well, how can I help you? I figured he got the hint because he stayed glued to his phone and avoided looking at me or anyone else. I got cut maybe an hour later. I grabbed my car key and walked out the back door and started walking to my car. I wasn't worried about anything until I started crossing the street and the voice inside my head started screaming, "Run!" I took off running to my car, but since you could see my driver's side from the back door, my inner voice told me to climb in through the passenger side. As I'm trying to climb into my driver's seat from the passenger side without being seen, I come to the realization that I'm being ridiculous. So I pop my head up and guess what? This idiot is right in front of my car. I almost ran him over, hauling it out of that parking lot. So that's the end of the story, right? Wrong. The next night I'm helping my manager with a catering order that's about to be picked up when the phone rings. So I answer the phone. "This is Fat Granddaddy, how can I help you?" "Hey, it's Greg. How are you, baby?" Fine?" I had no idea who it was at this point. "I'm glad you answered the phone. I wasn't sure you were working tonight." You don't know who this is, do you?" "No. It's Greg from last night, remember?" "Oh." It finally clicked, and I looked mortified, and my manager was mean-mugging me because I sounded like an idiot, and we didn't knock this order out. "So did you want to place an order to go?" "No, baby. I just wanted to make sure you were working. I'll see you soon." I hung up, and my manager was like, "What was that?" So I told her everything about the night before. When he shows up, she had me point him out to her. He sits at the bar, tries to speak to me right off the bat, but the bartender intervenes immediately. Within 5 minutes of him showing up, the manager was not digging the vibes from him and the way he was watching me. She calls me over and tells me she's sending me home early. Now our restaurant has an upstairs for storage and offices. There are 2 staircases, one towards the back of the restaurant and one to the front. She tells me to grab my stuff and go to the back staircase. I totally understood what her plan was. I ran up the back stairs and halfway down the front. If you stand about halfway up the front staircase, you can pretty much see the whole restaurant, so I peek my head and my manager immediately waves me to hide back upstairs. A few minutes later, a kitchen guy comes up the stairs and grabs me and we go out the front door, and he walked me around the block to the back parking lot to my car. My manager caught me in the parking lot before I left. Basically, since the back staircase is near the back door, he thought I left and went to follow me out again. My manager confronted him, and he was banned. And thankfully, I haven't seen him since. There's this new video game. I don't know if you guys have a PlayStation 4 or not, but there's this new video game that was just released. It's called Dreams, and it's by Media Molecule, by the people who made Little Big Planet 1, 2, and 3. And I remember Little Big Planet 1 came out in like 2009, and it was pretty sick, actually. I didn't really play the sequels a whole lot, but I definitely liked the idea, and some people made some pretty awesome games with it. Jensen with the $5 says, "Let's breed." Jensen, you know that's my Pornhub channel. We can't be divulging that to too many people. What is everyone's typing out letters in the chat? Why was that? Bess M with the 5 says, "You know you're in love when you can't fall asleep because reality is finally better than your dreams." Now that's a poem. Thank you, Bess. I appreciate that. But yeah, this game Dreams, I don't know if you guys, it actually just came out Well, it will be out tonight at midnight for PlayStation 4. And it's crazy. It's from what I've seen. It's crazy because you can pretty much create any type of game you possibly could conceive in your mind, whether it's some sort of adventure game, racing game, side scroller. I don't know. Like there's even like music composition in it and all that kind of stuff. And it's insane. It's like you guys should look up the trailer for it for this Dreams game. It's really really cool. And you can basically, you don't need PS Plus or anything like that, but you can play other people's levels, and that's the one thing I'm excited to try, is just to see what other people can create and possibly maybe create something on there as well. But I don't know. It's it kind of seems like one of those games almost similar to Minecraft, where you can just kind of let your mind and brain take over. Zombie Brain. Let's read PS4 mind control. Yeah, maybe it is. What about PS3? Was PS3 mind control too? Or Xbox? Is Xbox One mind control? Shining Force. What's this background of? Our good friend Robin Mikalsen made that background, and it's from the creativity of his mind. And I feel like it's it's got like the backwoods drop. It's raining. It's almost like a grassy mound, and I think I almost feel like that's like bone material, but it's almost as if though it's like a skull of a Wendigo, but perhaps facing the other direction, or just who even knows? I have no idea, but I love it. It's amazing. It's very Nightmare Before Christmas-esque. Muttley laughs, says, I don't like video games, I only like spaghetti. That's fair. I think you can have the best of both worlds. True love stories never have endings. That's true. They just keep going. Forever. Forever. That's my furry outfit, is a Wendigo skinwalker. Dude, skinwalkers are just furries. Spooky furries. I met a guy online back in August of last year. We immediately hit it off. I was reluctant to get in a relationship though, as I had been cheated on a few months prior and lied to that entire relationship. Catching feelings for anyone again scared the life out of me. But this guy was so sweet and nice that I just trusted him and But this guy was so sweet and nice that I trusted him and was willing to risk it for him. Skip to mid-September. We had both admitted feelings for each other a while before this, but he was reluctant to ask me out. I wasn't sure why, but I figured he was just waiting for the right moment, which he was, because he slipped that his birthday was coming up, and I pointed out, how come he's turning 19 and still in high school? And then he said that he isn't 18, he's 17. Fuck, what? Oh, I think that. Then he said that he isn't 19. Fuck, sorry. Then he said that he isn't. Fuck. God damn it, sorry. Then he said that he isn't 19. He's 17 and he's turning 18 in a few days. This made me mad because, although we've never actually been intimate, I'm 18 and I don't like being lied to. We both met in a place that's only for 18 plus people. He pointed out that I never directly asked him his age, I just assumed because of where we met. Despite this, when he turned 18 and asked me out, I said yes. We lasted less than a month. He would start fights every single day over the dumbest stuff. If I took over 10 minutes to reply, he would get mad at me and told me I needed to tell him when I was going to do stuff so he wasn't waiting for my message. He got mad that I've been in relationships before him despite none of them turning out good. So I broke up with him. I thought maybe in the future things would stop because this is his first relationship and he was just inexperienced. I told him multiple times, calmly, that things need to change and once the fight stopped we can try again. But they never stopped for more than a few days. One time he lied to me, saying some girl had been flirting with him and asked if he was single or taken just so I'd confirm our relationship, which I didn't. Because we weren't dating anymore and he got mad. I pointed out it was obviously a lie, but he insisted it happened. Only later that evening did he admit that it was a lie. Eventually, I shut off my Snapchat map because I didn't want him knowing where specifically I lived, and he got mad that I didn't trust him. One of my best IRL friends messaged me asking why he was requesting to follow her. I checked his Instagram, and he had started following everyone who was following me. I told him to unfollow them because he doesn't even know any of them and it's kind of weird. He got mad, but he did unfollow them. 2 weeks ago, I woke up one morning and he told me we needed to talk. He asked me why I've been lying to him, why I've been hiding things behind his back. I asked him what he was talking about because I never lied to him, nor hid anything from him. He says he's been messaging all of my friends on Instagram asking for information about me, who I've dated, who I've been doing, etc. He asked me why I've been FaceTiming people behind his back, not telling him everything about my past relationships, etc. I don't know if I was more shocked at the fact that he did this or the fact that these people were actually giving him information about me. I never did anything behind his back, though. And the only person I ever FaceTimed me first randomly and for 30 minutes just to play 8-ball on iMessage. He even messaged talking to people who... Whoopsie daisy. Also, holy shit, what's wrong with us guys? Like, why are we fucking crazy? Like, why is every story about just a fucking nutball? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, is our like sex drive literally that insane that everything we do is just based in some like comblarbable like we're just constantly on drugs. We just want to bang so hard we're constantly on drugs that we turn into fucking apes. Are these like, I don't even understand like how people get to the point where they're like like you date for 3 seconds and you're accusing them of being, you know, immoral or something like that. And also, who gives a fuck, you know what I mean? Like, move on if you're so insecure about the scenario. I don't even know. It's so insane to me like how do you get crazy? How does one get crazy? You know what I mean? Perhaps they were always crazy. Maybe that's the one thing I miss here, and men just have a much higher propensity for being like more objectively crazy. Maybe women are better at hiding their crazy. I don't fucking know. It's really strange. Bess M with the $2 says, if you were a garden, I would love to pick your flowers. Just rip them out. Rip them. Thank you, Bess. Thank you. Appreciate that. Cheyenne Dory Bob with the 5 says, I finally made it here and I came in for my favorite topic, skinwalkers. I hope you're having a lovely night. Thank you, Cheyenne, for the 5. Yeah, I need to get... I'm trying... Where does Swamp Dweller get all of his skinwalker stories? Because he does so many. If you see him, ask him for me. Crazy guys and girls uncontrollably sobbing seems to be a common theme. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, maybe everybody's just a little fucking nuts. And, Cashew Nut says, I can't stay, I just came to like the video for the algorithm thingy. You do best, Joel. Thank you, Cashew. Thank you. Yeah. Whenever they reveal their crazy lady, I did a little sneaky. I did a little sneaky one on you. Your guy friends tell you stories of crazy, scary women all the time. Yeah, I feel as if when I hear stories of crazy women, it's like it's almost way more scarier, I guess I could say, because it's almost like a level of crazy that there's no reasoning around, or like no, and like less support from your, you know, your social circles as well. It's like a weird thing. Guys are a lot more physical with their crazy, where it's just like, I gotta get the puh. Give me the puh. I need to get all up in that puh. Which, yikes, you know? Revan, 23 with the $2. Thanks you, Revan. Or is it Rayvan? Rayvan. Did a little sneaky schnoo. Crackheads are a different breed, though. Yeah, I mean, but I feel like I can't blame crackheads for being crazy because, you know, the whole crack thing. But normal people, the jealous type, I guess, like, if you're jealous and you sort of, you know that it's weird to be that jealous, but you kind of like respond to people, I guess, in sort of like a subconscious tone, or like almost like an indirect interaction, like you just being rude to your significant other because you don't want to like acknowledge that you're jealous. I feel like is something that someone can then address with you and be like, yeah, you're right, I don't know why I was acting like that. But the people that are just like, they come at you accusatory as like, you know, their obsession has led them to a level of insane that's, they've determined you were in the wrong. I don't know, it's like so strange to me, like how people can like muddy their brains to the point that the illogical becomes logical to them. But I will never understand the human mind. I think we are quite a ways away from understanding that. He even mentioned talking to people who I haven't talked to in months. He also made alternate accounts, befriending people from my past, voice chatting with them, playing games with them, all just to get info from them about me once they opened up. He even mentioned that my ex had messaged me, which I never told anyone, so I have no idea how he found that out. My Snapchat kept logging me out, so I think he hacked into my Snapchat to read my conversations with people. He found my old Reddit and went back 2 years of comment history to get mad at stuff I've said in the past. When I asked him how he found out about my one ex contacting me, he said, "You don't deserve to know," before proceeding to block me on everything. The day after he emailed me saying that there's nothing left to say, we're just acquaintances now, etc., etc., I told him, nah, we aren't even acquaintances anymore. He's just some crazy dude I dated. And it's his loss in the end, because he caused this by doing detective work, as he liked to put it. He said he did all this and he was curious, not that he didn't trust me, and he found lots of stuff he didn't want to. I guess about my past relationships, because that's all he ever mentioned. His little tangent went on for quite a while, saying he's my loss and he could have made me happy and blah blah. I told him he never could have made me happy. His money, which wasn't much, maybe, but not him as a person. Not since the first... What the fuck? God damn it. Not since the first... I'm sure there's a lot of examples. Blocked him, I never see him again. Man, a lot of these stories are kind of like just all relationship oriented. Music's too loud. Yeah, sorry, this part of the song is fucking... There we go. It's just, it's kind of a frequency that I don't think bodes well with people's earlobes. Yeah, sorry about the music there. His money, which wasn't much, maybe, but not him as a person. Not since the first fight started. 28 days later in the background, yeah, just screeching, screaming monsters. Yeah, with people's earlobes. The earlobes are the earlobes are the stomach of the head. It digests all the sound. This took place maybe around the age of 13. Let me set the scene. Oh wait, fuck. Did I miss some donos there? I would feel terrible if I missed those. Oh yeah, Raven 23 was the last one. Okay, cool. Co. Buffy, you make your heart smile. I'm glad. The earlobes is what you want to eat first. Bradley Allen with a 5 buckaroonies says buckaroonies, baby. Hell yeah. Tay, I'm just laying down basic anatomy. Just trying to help the very, confusing concepts of the body make sense by simple analogies, really. Bessa M with the 2 says, I didn't choose you, my heart did. I didn't choose you, but my heart did. All of these better go into one big poem later. You better be writing these down. This took place maybe around the age of 13. Let me set the scene. I had my first serious boyfriend, Sam. Sam was a nerdy kind of guy. We had met at church. When he had asked me out, I was over the moon, as another girl had been talking to him at the same time. I was flattered that he had chosen me. At the point in time this story takes place, I was having a lot of issues at home. I had attempted to take my life during my relationship and had a lot of issues with self-harm. My relationship with my parents was terrible. Still is. That probably explains why I never told them any of this. Besides my personal problems, I'd say the relationship was running smoothly until Sam came into contact with Allison. I don't recall exactly when or where Sam met Allison. I believe it was at his Air Cadets. It's almost like she just appeared. Whenever Sam and I were going through a rough patch, he would talk to Allison and she would console him. It made me really uncomfortable at the time, being a jealous 13-year-old. Our key communication was over Skype, as he lived a good 40 minutes away from me. On average, I saw him twice a week. Once on a Saturday, in which I would catch 2 buses to his home. The second being at church on a Sunday. He would often tell me stories about his long conversations with Allison. How she was hilarious, but she didn't like me, although I had never spoken to her myself. I assume this was due to him mainly speaking to her during our childish arguments. I first came into contact with Allison during an argument with Sam. We were bickering about something unimportant, and a message popped up on my Skype. It was from Allison. I don't recall what exactly the message said, as this was in 2014, but I tried to gain access to my old Skype to go through the messages, but have not been able to. But I do remember her insulting me repeatedly and saying I didn't deserve Sam, and I should have died in regards to ending my life. I responded harshly, telling her to screw off or something of the sorts. Was it polite? No. I was extremely standoffish at that age. Jeez, this is sad already. Giggity goo. You're gonna go as far as to say you like me better than Mr. Nightmare? That's it, I'm telling Mr. Nightmare. And he... Oh, I don't even want to imagine what he's gonna do. He might even go about his day. Right before he comes to your house. And tickles you into submission. And says, watch every one of Let's Read videos now. Or wait, no, he would be mad. Alright, I forgot. Mr. Nightmare's mad that you don't like him. JK, he wants you to watch him and his 13-minute videos. I was extremely standoffish at this age. My response seemed to anger her. I was bombarded with call after call. I declined every single one. I reported to Sam what had gone on, and he said he had told her to leave me alone. All was good for a while. This didn't affect me too much. This was semi-normal for me, as high school relationship drama was almost an everyday occurrence at my school. Looking back on it, Sam was almost definitely cheating on me, but I was too naive and in childish love to care. My second incident with Allison was on a summer afternoon. I was relaxing on Sam's bed after an afternoon of messing around. He had gone to complete a chore in the kitchen and had left his computer on. I decided to check my Facebook and went to log in. On the screen was a chat with Allison. Being curious, I scrolled through the chat. I was greeted with an onslaught of naked images of her. This started a huge fight, as you can imagine. Sam said that she was just a jealous stalker girl. My third interaction with Allison was at my local library. Allison must have been 16, as she was completing some work experience at the time. I have and still am an avid book reader. I was there with my mother and sister when I saw her at the counter. She stared me down, and it took me back, as I didn't recognize her to begin with. It then clicked. I was more annoyed than anything. I didn't pick up a book instead of opting to hang around my sister as she checked some books. I don't know why that all sounded freaking strange. Freaking strange, man. Tickle should be considered torture. Sometimes it can be. I'm very ticklish around the kneecaps. A little tidbit about me. I'm very ticklish around the kneecaps. And anybody who does the whole squeezing tickles, the squozing of the kneecaps, of the patella area, the pituitary area of the quads, and pretty much lock up like a freaking deer in headlights, or like one of those like ghost frogs that just kind of like float in their tank. That's kind of me. Can I please do a fake chuckle? The funniest joke. Guys, I heard a funny joke and it made me laugh like this. Tickle fight. Oh, my pillow. In a pillow fight too? Whoa. Oh, all these downed feathers are going everywhere. I remember the one guy from my work would always say, he's like, every girl is just one pillow fight away from being a lesbian. It's like, that should be written down in some psalms somewhere. She stared me down, and it took me aback as I didn't recognize her to begin with. It then clicked. I was more annoyed than anything. I didn't pick up a book instead of opting to hang around my sister as she checked some books. Allison's eyes never left me. The time came to leave as Mum was renting the books out. She made small talk with Allison. I was surprised at how polite and well-mannered she was in comparison to the girl who had messaged me. I began to feel guilty for the way I had responded to her. Once at home, I hopped on my phone and wrote a message to her, apologizing for the way I had spoken to her. In the message I received back from her... Oops. Ayane with the tuba says, "Hoes mad." Wait, what's that thing? Hoes mad. For some reason, I can't tell what that emoji is. It kind of looks like a dried piece of mango fruit, or maybe a slice of beef jerky. Perhaps an old sack that Santa Claus may use for presents? I can't quite tell, but thank you, Ayane. Dark Lord Jar Jar, hell yeah, that's the one. true Sith Lord I can get down with. With the $2 says, you are way scarier IRL than any of your stories. I am. Cheyenne Dory Bob with the 150 with the rose, thank you. She picked it fresh. The message I received back from her was a different tone altogether. She started listing all these terrible names. She said I had no right to date Sam, and all I brought him was misery. This time her words really did affect me. 7 out of 10. Oh, it's an orangutan. Nice. What? Oh, it is an orangutan. I can't tell. Dude, I was really stoked when I found on iMessage, hey Jamie, when I found on iMessage that the orangutan is now an emoji, a newly added addition to the wide array that the Apple Corporation, the $1 trillion Apple Corporation, has finally blessed us lowly fledglings, with an orangutan emoji. So thank you, Apple. I'm doing my Apple prayer. Thank you, Steve Jobs, for the orangutan emoji. Do you think Steve Jobs channeled that orangutan emoji through his spirit back to whatever CEO who's wearing a black turtleneck now? Dude, do you think they're wearing the same turtleneck that Steve Jobs wore? And that truly it's the turtleneck that gives them the ideas, the divine knowledge to include an orangutan emoji? Because honestly, if I would have created the iPhone, I would have made an orangutan emoji available day one. Day one, orangutan emoji. Executive order, orangutan emoji for everybody, free of charge. Well, not free, but you get the idea. This time her words really did affect me. I called Sam and begged him to never contact her again. I remember vividly sobbing and crying for hours. This happened a couple more times, each time escalating in severity. Threats to beat my lights out were sent. My mental health was greatly affected. I wasn't afraid of her more upset. Whoops. That creepy kid in the corner with the $2 says, having a great Valentine's in my uncle's basement. Hell yeah, that sounds romantic. Thank you, kid in the corner. Get out of that basement. Come up here and have some din-din with us. Jamie, we're doing a million pillow challenge for Joel. What's a million pillow challenge? I've never heard of that. You guys have to hit me with a million. Imagine if a million people came. I mean, I guess a million would probably kill you, but say 100 people all started attacking you viciously with downed feathered pillows. Do you think you would die? Do you think that's enough to... Do you think that could kill you? Or, oh no, what if you had the option to be beat to death by pillows instead of, electrocuted? Would you opt for that? You're okay, that's the electric chair. We're not going to put a sponge on your forehead. It's going to make it quick or anything like that. Or you could let all the prisoners beat you with pillows till you're dead. Yeah, or ask Reddit. Somebody go ask Reddit. Figure out what's going on. I wasn't afraid of her, but more upset at the things she said. I never took a single threat seriously. To this day, I have no idea why Sam stayed in contact with her, and I began to avoid the library. My relationship with Sam continued. One day, I got into a large argument with my mother and called Sam sobbing. He consoled me and told me it was going to be all right. Impulsively, I decided to go for a run, leaving my phone at home. I wanted to be out of the home. I wanted to be out of the home. Hiya, Georgie. I wanted to be out of the home. I was gone for maybe an hour or two. I returned home to an onslaught of messages from Sam, deeply concerned for my well-being. I apologized and explained the situation, a reminder this entire time that I had not blocked Allison. She messaged me with the usual drivel. I was so used to her threats at this point it hardly fazed me. The same threat happened again. I'll beat your lights out. Calling her bluff, I replied, well, go on then. You don't even know where I live. She replied with my address, and my heart skipped a beat. All the threats of violence were all too real now. I remember shaking uncontrollably. I got spit in my throat. I sobbed down the phone to Sam. I begged him to block her and never to speak to her again. He continued to speak to her, although I never did. New girls appeared in her place, but none were as invasive as her. We ended the relationship after a year and a bit. In one of the messages I sent to him regarding our breakup, I spoke about Allison and his stalker girls. It's been a long time since then. Sam and I occasionally speak, and I'd say we are on good terms. He's in a band, and I'm studying still. At the time, I didn't realize the severity of her actions. The fact that she had gone onto the computer base at my library and searched for my address didn't pass my mind until many years later. It still sends shivers down my spine. What would she have... What would she have been actually capable of doing? I'll never know. I truly hope no one finds out. I tried finding her online out of curiosity, to no avail. If she was capable of that amount of calculation at 16 years old, I wonder what she was capable of now. I hope this serves as a word of warning to parents to look out for their kids. I know this story may not be as severe as many on this subreddit, but I thought I'd share this terrifying tale. Man, that bitch ain't gonna do shit. Saw her at the library, she didn't do anything. She's like, have a great day. I'm gonna message you threats later. Yeah. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, bitch. Hehehe. Oh, what? Bring your books back on time. $500 peeps. Yeah, there were days of past where I got up to like 1,200 people in here, which was pretty dope. But I don't know if that kind of involved people who were more beginning the curiosity of what my streams were kind of all about. And it'd be sick to one day get back up to that, because whenever I see like certain streamers that I watch on Twitch and stuff get to over 1,000 viewers, usually concurrently, I'm like, damn, they made it. They done did it, you know? Axeman says, tell us the story about the disembodied ghost wiener that haunted the strip club. They would never let him in. He was too much of a liability. Never had money either. Kind of a drunk. Always had a bit of a runny nose, if you catch my drift. You've been nearly up for 24 hours, Emma. Are you crazy? Are you fucking crazy? Are you fucking crazy? Do you remember that on H3H3 with Michaela? Michaela! Are you fucking crazy? That shit was so funny. Love your channel, man, and have you heard of the YouTuber horror show Mickey? You both sound alike a little. I should just check it out. Yeah, I'll have to check him out. I never heard of horror show Mickey. Bess M with the 2 says, right from the start. Right from the start, you stole my fart. Thank you, Bess M. Everybody sends a pic with their favorite pillow. Oh, interesting. That's the million pillow challenge. Sounds kind of creepy. You trick people into sending. All right, guys, send me pictures of you in your bed with your pillows. Wink, wink. It's the what? It's the million pillow challenge. It's totally normal and not me trying to invade your personal space at all. I swear. Call in. What's up? This is 3 p.m. to 7 a.m. 16-hour shift. Thank good I have this to listen to. Yes, thank the Lord good. He is always good. You got a Joel pillow? You got... Dude, someone needs to make a Dakimakara. You're surprised I knew that word, you old weebs out there. I know all the words. I'm hip. I know memes. Ladies and gents. I'm not straight boomer. Pics of disembodied wieners from the strip club. No, he is a riot to go out with. You guys should do it sometime. What's my favorite kind of spooky story? Definitely the paranormal ones. I really like the skinwalker stuff. It's just weird. When do you see me? You can go on Discord and see me. Go to the selfies, join our Discord, link down below. Go to the selfies channel, click the pin messages. Ask someone here, they can walk you through it if you truly are interested in my beautiful mug. Oh, Lord. My face. Cheyenne Dory Bob with the 2 says you should sell Buttersock pillows. You know, I don't really know. Like, basically, I do everything through Spreadshirt because it's all hands off. I just have to provide the designs, which we're kind of overdue for some designs here soon, I feel like. If I'm a boomer, you're an auntie. That's funny. But yeah, you know, whatever, pretty much you can take the designs that are on Spreadshirt and then apply, even if it doesn't show on my storefront, you can apply it to whatever random thing they have available in there. I think they have pillows, but I'm not sure. I know that there are some limitations. Am I straight? I am of the straighter, the straight and narrow variety, if you catch my drift. Alec Vega, 2 buckaroonies. My good friend, thank you for being so generous tonight. We still alive here in party 2. I might call out. Oh shit. Yeah, I hope you haven't had too much to drink that they can smell it through the phone when it goes through. It is true that you, Mr. Nightmare, Mr. Creepypasta are actually one entity with 3 heads. That's true. How do I even do Mr. Nightmare's voice? When I was a kid. Like, I don't know. Can anybody do an impression? I mean, I wouldn't be able to hear you guys doing an impression of Mr. Nightmare, but I want to hear you guys try it right now. 3, 2, 1, go. What? Yeah, the Mr. Creepypasta. Hey, everybody. It's me, Mr. Creepypasta. Nah, I honestly can't do impressions of people that are, like, don't have very distinct accents. Like, it's hard to, like... I feel like it's hard to mimic it. If you've heard Jensen, he can do quite a bit of impressions of peeps. Mr. Nightmare sounds like a dad you don't want to disappoint. That's very true. I'm very disappointed in you. When I was a kid. I can hear everyone. I can hear all 535 of your voices just ringing through my ears. It's very difficult to concentrate. Do guys stalk other guys? I've never stalked any male compadres. I think that goes against the code. The code of ethics between men. Because I feel like with guys, you can just walk up to them and I mean, if you're a guy, you can just, unless it's like a, you know, a weird, you know, a sort of a sexual thing, then I'm sure I always see some. I mean, I do have some gay friends, and some of the horror stories I hear from their experiences on El Grindio, if Grindiosa, um, some of it can get pretty cray cray on there. Oh, Damien's stalking me. Okay, yeah, there you go. There's an example. Thank you, Damien, for stepping up to the plate. I thought that I saw you from across the way. Axman says, when I hear Mr. Nightmare talk, I immediately feel like I need to do better at school. He will be checking out my report card. That's true. I'm very disappointed in you, Axman. Congratulations, you are schizophrenic. They announced that on Maury. Hey, Victoria read The Suspense. Hello. Pizza Love. Let's read Pizza Heart. Alright, friendos. We're going to kick off this, oh yeah. Fry definitely stalks me. I gotta be careful what I mention, because he will find it. Is Joel good looking? Oh, you'll have to find out yourself. This happened back in 2009, but after finding this sub, I felt compelled to share. My husband and I were 21, just moved into our first apartment, and I was about 6 months pregnant. The small one-bedroom apartment we found wasn't one of those nicer, corporately owned communities. It was more like a slumlord situation, but rent was cheap and we were just getting started in life. Now, a little backstory. The city we were in was still close to family, and my husband had a great aunt we knew lived nearby. She was one of those family members we would only see at big family reunions, so it wasn't like we had a close relationship. As a great aunt, she was one of like 13 children. You know, back in the day when everyone had 1,000 kids, and she had been married for many years with 4 of her own children. They were all mostly grown up, but being that this was over a decade ago, her youngest was maybe 16 or so at the time. We hardly ever saw him at reunions because he was one of those gang-banging kids that was always getting into trouble. Apart from his poor choices, he was born with a very striking facial deformity that really gave him a unique appearance. Shit. I was on such a good roll, too. I looked at like one wrong letter too early. Joe looks like George Clooney. I look like the 60-year-old George Clooney. Apart from his poor choices, he was born with a very striking facial deformity that really gave him a unique appearance. We'll call him E. So we had just moved in 2 weeks prior to this incident. I was only working part-time, so I came home early in the day and continued to unpack and organize until my husband got home in the evenings. Our then English bulldog was my faithful companion, and although they have a lazy stigma, she was a great guard dog. So it was early evening and there was still light out when I started hearing banging or prying of some sort coming from the back of the apartment where our bedroom was. On the other side of our bedroom, the back wall faced the parking lot, so we got a significant amount of noise when people came and went. At first, I figured it had to be a gardener or someone loading things from their car. As the noise continued, I realized it was right up against that wall. I peeked out our window, but due to the angle, I really couldn't see much. This noise obviously aggravated our dog, who wouldn't stop barfing. You dog owners know what I'm talking about. And it was starting to make me scared. Cheap rent came with some shady neighbors, and we quickly realized this wasn't going to be a long-term residence. So, this noise continued. My dog continued to barf, and I was getting freaked out because I couldn't see anything outside our window and I didn't have the guts to go investigate. I was really pregnant, and I don't like running even when not pregnant. Finally, my husband made it home just as it's getting dark, and at this point I hadn't heard the noise for nearly an hour. Of course, I tell him right away that I had been freaked out for the last few hours because of banging, prying, and moving going on outside. So yes, he went to investigate and came back saying nothing seemed out of place. Later that same night, we had made dinner, eaten, and my husband was shaving in the bathroom getting ready to take a shower before bed. Suddenly I hear him yell, "Hey," in the deepest booming voice I had ever heard. I come quickly to the living room and I see my husband in his bockers. Wearing his bockers. He's in his bockies. What is everyone doing for Valentine's Day? I feel like I was going to ask that. Yeah, barking under his breath, like, ruff, 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 ruff. Where it like finishes with like an F instead of a bark. Bark, bark. Bork, bork, I am dog, bork. Yeah, what are you... He's throwing... The dog's just projectile vomiting. Yeah, what are you guys doing for Valentine's? You are celebrating you and your sister-in-law's B-Day. Oh, hell yeah. In my deepest boomer's voice. Alright, everyone, I'm a boomer, and I'm here to ground you. And not give you your birthday card until tomorrow. Bork, bork. You want to go see The Grudge? Interesting. I wonder if that's a good movie. There was another movie, The Colors Out of Space, with one of my favorite actors, Nicolas Cage. And I was curious. I was downright curious if that was a good movie or not. We all know H.P. Lovecraft, for sure, can write a dang good story. But whether or not that's realized in this modern era, I'm not too certain. You're gonna be sleeping and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Hell yeah. In the deepest booming voice I'd ever heard, I come quickly... Oh, shit. Suddenly I hear him yell, "Hey!" in the deepest booming voice I had ever heard. I come quickly running to the living room and I see my husband in his boxers stretched from just outside the bathtub with both his hands on the small windows still inside the shower and tub. I ask him what happened, and he turns with an alarming look on his face and says, "Someone's cut the screen." I had chills go straight down my spine and was basically frozen. He yelled for them to get out of here, when some more movement started happening and he slammed the window shut and locked it. This is the uncomfortable part. As soon as he turned around again, out of breath, he says to me, "That was my cousin E." I was so shocked. I asked him if he was sure, and he says he could recognize that face anywhere. And then he started questioning what the odds were that E recognized him, and to this day we really didn't know. Immediately following the incident, we had the manager replace the screen, and I placed a towel in the window to keep it Wait, it says dowel. I wonder if they meant to type dowel. Is dowel a word? Dowel. Oh, it is a thing. Oh my god, it is a thing! A peg of wood, metal, or plastic without a distinct head, used for holding together components of a structure.
Dowel.
Dowel. Well, look, that's a sensual... That's a kind of a word Can you guys hear that?
Dowel.
Oh. I like that word.
Dowel.
Dowel. I named my first dog that. Come here, Dowel.
Dowel.
Dowel, come here. Instead of burping, he dowels.
Dowel. Dowel.
Dowel.
Dowel.
Dowel. Dowel burp. Immediately following the incident, we had the manager replace the screen and I placed a dowel in the window to keep it shut. We lasted 9 months in that complex and will never rent from a slumlord again. We have also not seen E since, even before the incident at a family reunion. About 2 years ago, we found out he had been incarcerated and isn't due to be released until 2022. We don't know what the charges were. The family keeps the situation hush-hush, but I truly hope we don't ever see him again. That's my date tomorrow. I'm hooking up with a hot dowel. Sir, would you like a hot dowel on your face? They could just give you like a piece of wood on a plane. That'd be a funny thing. I could totally see that happening. Just get on a plane and sir, would you like some scorching hot wood on your body? Alright guys, let me read this little outro for you. Maybe you guys can think of something cutesy. Think of a little cutesy thing to say at the end. Yes. It is Valentine's Day after all. Something cutesy. Yes. Oh, Jules, the storm is passing. I'm thankful. Is it a snowstorm? Hey friends, thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let's Read Official, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. Alright, what are we saying? Something with Dow. Something with Dow. Dark Lord Jar Jar. And remember, Dows are not Tows. There you go. Thanks, Jar Jar. Thank you, Misa. I need towels. I'm not towels. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, dowels are not towels. It's probably the most controversial statement I've said all year, all 2020. Well, guys, I hope these stories weren't too terribly unexciting for you. I think they'll go well. I had a good time, honestly. I had a good time at the stream. You guys are awesome as always. I forgot what song. I usually do like an outro song. I'm kind of ruining it if I talk about it, but yes. And oh yeah, I should have talked about the million pillow challenge. Guys, we're gonna start the million pillow challenge. Be sure to send me pillow pictures with pillow talk. Just kidding, don't do that. I know, the stream ended very quickly. It was only a 2-hour stream, but that time sure does fly by really fast when we're having a good time. I really do love you guys. I mean, every time I'm kind of like, there are times where, oh, Lila, I'm sorry. We are literally just ending here. I'm so sorry that you're just getting here. But yeah, I think I might be over in the Discord to do some editing. I'm definitely not as word vomit over there when I'm editing, but I like to listen to you guys, like to switch places with you guys while I'm just clicking through my own voice to get that all ready for tomorrow. All of the audio will be up early on Patreon with early access there. And then I'll, if you guys haven't followed me on social media already, be sure to do that, because then I will alert you of pretty much everything when it comes out on the dot, in case YouTube's notifications do not reach your inbox or your face, or you don't have your electric shock setting set to shock your butt every time a new video is out. But anyways, love you guys, and a new video will be out tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place, same face, even though I don't show it. But goodbye.